Welcome back to The Bright Side. Thank you for joining us today. We're talking about anxiety, and all this has to do with nitric oxide. Believe it or not, nitric oxide is an inflammatory hormone. It's associated with wounding and trauma and stress, and not surprisingly, nitric oxide levels are associated with anxiety as well. We'll talk about that here in a minute. We'll continue talking about nitrates and some of the misunderstanding that surrounds nitrogen and nitrates specifically. We'll talk about that here probably tomorrow or the next day. I want to finish up a couple of things about anxiety. I'm actually not going to get to talk about everything I want to say, but I'll be writing about it on my blog at pharmacistben.com. Anyway, anxiety is basically the way fear or the emergency response feels like over the course of time. Fear is a short-term, immediate response. Fear is connected to action. And under normal, healthy circumstances, the action alleviates the fear. This is described very eloquently in the book Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers by Dr. Robert Sapolsky, who explains in the book that animals have a fear response, but then they get out of the fear situation, they flee out of the fear situation, or they fight out of the fear situation, and then the fear goes away. Fear is like a short-term kind of thing that encourages action. Anxiety is different. Anxiety is more generalized. Anxiety is not necessarily linked to a specific problem or a specific stimulus. It's longer in duration. And this is very important. It's not linked to action. Anxiety is not linked to action where fear is. And this means it doesn't have a safety valve. Fear has a safety valve shut off. That's action. You take action, you get out of the situation, your fear goes away. But anxiety is more generalized and long-term. It's not related to a specific cause. It's kind of got a general cause. And so it doesn't have a safety valve shut off. It can last a lifetime. And the interesting thing about this sense of anxiety is that in addition to it being activated by psychology, by thoughts and by emotions, it can also be activated by biochemistry. So our thoughts can induce anxiety, our emotions and feelings can induce anxiety, but our physical biochemistry can also induce an anxiety response. Low blood sugar, hypoglycemia, can induce an anxiety response. Low blood oxygen, hypoxia, can induce an anxiety response. Acid accumulation, lactic acid from wastes and from chronic degenerative diseases can induce an anxiety response. Toxins from the digestive system, food intolerances, food allergies, what's called dysbiosis, messed up gut bacteria. This can also be types of biochemical phenomena that can induce anxiety. And all of these biochemical triggers work via the inflammatory/immune system. So low blood sugar initiates inflammation, initiates an immune response, a defensive response of some kind, and this can cause anxiety. Same with toxins that accumulate from the digestive system, or toxins that come in from an infectious agent, or toxins that come in from messed up gut bacteria. These are all examples of biochemical causes that can induce this anxiety response. You may just feel like, just don't feel right, just feel anxious. And it could be something as simple as messed up gut bacteria. By the way, this connection between probiotics, good bacteria, and mental health is something that we're learning more and more about every day. And it's very, very, very important. We'll talk about this here in a minute. In any case, all this is to say is we can address anxiety and really depression and all mental health issues, really, even schizophrenia and autism and more pathological kinds of mental health issues from two directions. We can address it from the outside in and from the inside out. Outside in, it means changing the stuff changing our circumstances, if you will, changing the foods we eat, if you will. Changing our jobs, changing our financial conditions, changing our schools. If we have issues with schizophrenia, or kids have issues with autism, perhaps changing the diet can help. Inside out means changing our biochemistry. We can slow, deep breathe. We can activate the so-called parasympathetic nervous system, the relaxation nervous system. Deep breathing is the best way to do it, but you can use hot water to do it. Immersion therapy, hot tubs, baths, showers, yoga can do it, meditation can do it. Please don't underestimate the power of meditation, and I hope you're not out there thinking, oh, meditation's kind of airy-fairy, or it's a spiritual thing. Yes, and meditation can be a spiritual issue, but really meditation has got physical benefits as well. Athletes use meditation to relax. Meditative techniques have been used to treat people who have chronic degenerative or terminal disease states. And you don't need to have a yogi or a guru to meditate. You can sit on the couch and do it. Meditation is nothing more than sitting still and watching your mind work. Does that sound weird? Watching your mind work? Watching your thoughts? Try it. It's not that easy to simply watch your thoughts. Make a distinction between watching your thoughts and thinking your thoughts. Most of us have no problem thinking thoughts, but to watch the thoughts as they go by, now that's a whole different ball of wax, and you can study this process or practice this process of watching your thoughts for years, for decades, and not get the hang of it. Simply by watching your thoughts, you'll find that you're going into a alpha brainwave state, a meditative state, simply by watching your thoughts. Understanding what these things are, thoughts and emotions and mentality in general, and then taking control of them can be the most powerful anti-anxiety strategy that you use. Changing our psychology can induce the production of our own natural anti-anxiety medicine. We make our own Valium. Deepak Chopra has a really interesting story about that. I'll tell you when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. A couple more things I want to say about anxiety, and then we'll just put this thing to bed and continue talking about, I think we'll start talking about probiotics, and actually we'll talk about nitric oxide a little bit. And then we'll talk about nitrates and the misunderstanding around nitrates. We'll do that in the next few days. I want to tell you this cute little story from Deepak Chopra. He tells a story. He was sitting on a plane, and the guy next to him was taking some Valium. Valium is an anti-anxiety medicine. You probably know that. And he asked Deepak Chopra if he wanted a Valium to relax, and Deepak Chopra goes, "No thanks, I'm making my own." At least that's the way he said it on the tape that I was listening to, which I thought was kind of amusing because it's true. We make our own Valium. We make our own Xanax. We make our own anti-anxiety medicine. And depending on a prescription or depending on a medical intervention, to make these kinds of things or to get these kinds of things into our body deprives our cells of making our own. The more we take from the outside, the less our body and our brain is less likely our brain is to make its own. Our brain downregulates its production of anti-anxiety medicine, inherent built-in biochemistry, biochemical anti-anxiety medicine, if we take it from the outside. So how do you access your own anti-anxiety medicine? Well, there's lots you can do. From a nutritional standpoint, there's lots of supplements you could take. Glycine, I love this stuff, 1,000 milligrams a day can have a nice relaxing effect. Glycine is also very important for the liver. It's an important detoxification substance. Glycine is involved in making collagen. Glycine is involved in making all connective tissue. It's wonderfully anti-aging. Glycine is a raw material building block amino acid for the body to make proteins out of. And it has anti-anxiety and relaxing and sleep properties or sleep-promoting properties as well. This is the neatest thing about nutritional supplements, you guys. Not only do you avoid the toxic side effects, but you get beneficial effects. You get extra beneficial effects. And, of course, you don't have to deal with a doctor, and these things are much, much cheaper than typical pharmaceuticals. Melatonin. Now, I'm telling you, there is nothing more powerful than melatonin when it comes to broad-spectrum benefits. And it's cheap, and it'll help you sleep and relax, and it's wonderfully anti-anxiety. Melatonin is the natural opposite of serotonin. Serotonin and melatonin are in the body in opposition. Serotonin comes from melatonin. Melatonin comes from serotonin. The body makes one from the other. Melatonin can help you sleep, but melatonin also has wonderfully relaxing benefits. You don't necessarily want to take it during the day, but by increasing the amount of melatonin that's in your system, you may get some anti-anxiety benefits. You can take melatonin as a supplement, 3 milligrams, 6 milligrams a night, or you can get melatonin in foods, walnuts, rice, peanuts, ginger. These are all good sources of food melatonin. There's a wonderful supplement, which is a brain neurotransmitter, brain chemical, called GABA, G-A-B-A. GABA is wonderfully relaxing. You can take 500 milligrams or so a day, or you can use glutamine powder to help build GABA. Glutamine also has tremendous broad-spectrum benefits. Glutamine is great for muscle building. Glutamine is a precursor to the body's major cancer fighter and disease fighter, glutathione. Glutamine is found in high-protein foods, meats especially. You can use the B vitamins to help build GABA, and the B vitamins are also anti-stress vitamins, and B vitamin deficiency is much more common than anybody realizes. One of the beautiful benefits of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is the fact that it's loaded, packed with the B complex. Every time you go to the bathroom, you urinate, you're urinating out your B complex. If you're not replacing that B complex throughout the day, the chances are pretty darn good you're going to be deficient. The B complex of vitamins are your electrical vitamins. They're how cells generate electrical energy. Without B vitamins, there's no energy in a cell. The very core of the energy production process runs, literally runs on B vitamins. The same B vitamins that we urinate out every time we go to the bathroom. If you're one of those folks who's drinking lots of water, the chances are really, really, really good that you're going to be deficient in the B vitamins. That means low energy. That means anxiety. And the B vitamins are also used by the brain, by the nervous system, to make GABA. There's a really cool supplement, anti-anxiety supplement called Theanine, Theanine. Theanine is found in green tea, but you can get theanine theanine capsules as a supplement, 100 milligrams a day. I love lithium. Lithium orotate or lithium aspartate. Dr. Wallach's been talking about lithium for many years. You'll get lithium in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the plant-derived minerals. All the mineral products from Longevity have some lithium in them. Or you can supplement with lithium, 5 milligrams or so a day. Take it at night, actually. Lithium might cause some relaxation, might make you too relaxed. Magnesium, super, mega anti-anxiety, anti-stress. Magnesium deficiency, like the B vitamins, is very common. In fact, it may be the most common. It's certainly one of the most common mineral deficiencies. Magnesium is a veggie mineral, and folks don't like eating their veggies. Wherever you see green, you got magnesium. That's the color of magnesium. That means green leafy vegetables are going to be your best sources of magnesium, cabbage and green beans, etc. Or, of course, you can supplement. The Beyond OsteoFX is a good source of magnesium. Again, take your magnesium at night. If you're constipated, magnesium has a relaxing effect on the bowels. Magnesium has a relaxing effect on the muscles. Magnesium has a general relaxing effect, and magnesium will help you sleep, too. All the supplements that are involved in anti-anxiety will also have a nice relaxing effect that can help you fall asleep. Tryptophan, or its cousin, its precursor, 5-HTP, both have nice relaxing properties. You're going to want to take them at bed. People who drink warm milk, or if you ever give your child warm milk before you go to bed, you're accessing the tryptophan, or one of the things you're accessing is the tryptophan content of the milk. Whey protein is also a good source of tryptophan, using a little bit of whey protein throughout the day, or whey protein before you go to bed at night. Or taking 5-HTP, maybe 500 milligrams a day, can have some nice relaxing anti-anxiety benefits. Vitamin D, also associated with relaxation. Vitamin D deficiencies are linked to sleep deprivation. Vitamin D deficiencies are linked to insomnia issues. All this makes sense given vitamin D's association with the circadian, the cycle of light and dark in the body. Everybody knows vitamin D is associated with the sun. Potassium has some nice relaxing effects. If you're subsisting on the standard American diet, you're probably getting way more sodium than potassium. Like melatonin and serotonin, like magnesium and calcium, there's an antagonistic relationship, a balancing relationship between sodium and potassium. Most people are getting way, way, way more sodium than they're getting potassium, and it should be the other way around. We're supposed to be getting 4 times as much potassium as sodium, but most people are getting 4 times as much sodium as potassium. That means they're 16 times off on their sodium to potassium ratio. So using a little potassium, maybe 100 to 200 milligrams a day, maybe even 300 or 400 milligrams a day. And potassium, like magnesium, is a vegetable mineral. So using vegetable juices, vegetable soups, eating more veggies can get you some potassium and have a nice relaxing effect on the body. Vitamin B1 specifically, the Bs in general are good for anti-anxiety, but vitamin B1 is specifically important for energy metabolism, for helping the body process sugar. If you're one of those people who are eating lots of sugar, chances are pretty good that you're running low in your vitamin B1. Vitamin B1 deficiency is associated with mental health problems, associated with something called Werner-Korsakoff syndrome, or also known as alcoholic psychosis. Alcoholics are commonly deficient in vitamin B1. In fact, if an alcoholic gets put in a drunk tank, first thing they'll put in the alcoholic's arm is vitamin B1. Injection, IV, vitamin B1, thiamine. But you can get your vitamin B1 in your Beyond Tangy Tangerine. A couple more anti-anxiety supplements we'll talk about when we come back from our break and get to your phone calls as well. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Break. Continue on with a few miscellaneous supplements for dealing with anxiety issues. We talked about glycine, melatonin, GABA, theanine, lithium, magnesium, tryptophan, and 5-HTP, which is a precursor to tryptophan. I'm sorry, a precursor to serotonin, actually comes from tryptophan. Let's see, vitamin D, potassium. We talked about thiamine before we went to break. Thiamine's really interesting for mental health issues. Attention deficit disorder has been linked to thiamine deficiency. If your kids are going off to school with a sugary, after eating a sugary breakfast, Pop-Tarts and cereal and orange juice, etc., chances are pretty good they're going to be deficient in thiamine because the body uses thiamine to process sugar. And thiamine deficiencies can cause attention deficit disorders and emotional health issues. Hallucinations in alcoholics have been associated with thiamine deficiencies, and they will actually use thiamine IVs to deal with Werner-Korsakoff syndrome, also known as alcoholic psychosis. Vitamin B3 is mega important for anxiety issues. It's been used to treat social anxiety disorder, Asperger's syndrome. Schizophrenics are notoriously deficient in niacin. A lot of folks think that the fact that schizophrenics smoke a lot of cigarettes may be related to the fact that they're self-medicating with nicotine in order to upregulate or simulate niacin. There's a relationship between nicotine and vitamin B3, but you can use vitamin B3 just as a nice relaxing supplement. Vitamin B3 is also associated with the neurotransmitter serotonin, and vitamin B3 actually has multiple benefits. Vitamin B3 deficiency disease is called pellagra, and if you go to medical school, they'll tell you pellagra is marked by the 4 Ds: diarrhea, digestive disorders, or digestive distress, diarrhea, digestive distress, dermatitis, dementia, and death. They call that the 4 Ds. Those are the 4 Ds of niacin deficiency, and dementia, of course, is related to mental health problems and even anxiety. So using a little bit of niacin, time-release niacin, perhaps 500 milligrams a day, or maybe 100 to 200 milligrams a day of just regular old niacin. Niacin activates your own natural Valium, your own natural anti-anxiety medicine. Has a natural Valium effect. Zinc is important for all mental health issues. Stabilize your blood sugar. Nothing will kick off an anxiety or panic attack faster than low blood sugar or hypoglycemia. Maybe low oxygen. Low oxygen will kick it off faster. But between low oxygen and low blood sugar, you got 2 major causes of anxiety. So stabilize your blood sugar by staying off of sugar spiking foods, blood sugar spiking foods, and also using chromium, which is an awesome mineral for helping balance out sugar. Along with magnesium, chromium and magnesium are your 2 most important minerals for stabilizing sugar. There's a neat article, by the way, in the Chicago Tribune a couple of days ago. Scientific team sounds the alarm on sugar as a source of disease. No kidding. If you've been listening to The Bright Side, you know that should come as no surprise to you. Actually, we'll talk about this tomorrow, I think. A couple more things. Probiotics. I'm going to talk about probiotics tomorrow as well because they're so important. Probiotics, though, we're learning more and more about how important they are for mental health issues. Do you know bacteria in the gut actually make brain chemicals? Bacteria in the gut make GABA. Bacteria in the gut make serotonin that we can use for mental health issues. Using probiotics is an amazingly important nutritional supplement strategy for all kinds of reasons. Of course, obviously for digestive health, but also for mental health issues. Do you know gut bacteria actually play a role in our food choices? Isn't that crazy? Bacteria that live in our guts may control food cravings and may control moods as well. This is from the University of California, San Francisco. We'll talk about this tomorrow as we finish up talking about anxiety, and then we'll also talk about nitrates and nitric oxide as it relates to anxiety as well, and nitrates as it relates to dietary strategies. A lot of folks are now believing that some of the benefits associated with keeping your diet strong and healthy and making good food choices has to do with the fact that eating correct foods actually can boost your nitrogen levels, your nitric oxide levels as well. And given the link between nitric oxide deficiency and diseases, that might be something that you want to think about. We'll continue talking about that tomorrow and on the coming days on The Bright Side. Okay, 844-236-6010 is our number. Let's go to California and welcome Joseph to The Bright Side. What's up, Joseph?
Hi.
Hey.
Thanks for taking me on the show.
What's going on?
Problem is, I have been diagnosed with thrombosis last summer in August.
Okay.
I was on Coumadin for several months. Then the problem went away. I was allowed to go off the medicine. And here's my question. Regarding my dietary intake of vitamin K, whether that be from vegetables like kale and broccoli or soybeans or supplements, how much is safe for someone who forms blood clots easily and whose job is often sedentary?
Well, you got to consider that your blood clots are not, you got to figure out why your blood is clotting. Vitamin K is not going to cause your blood to clot like a drug would cause your blood to clot. The body has control mechanisms for making sure that you don't overdose on vitamins. In other words, the clotting mechanism that depends on vitamin K you can't increase the clotting by taking more vitamin K. There's safety valves in place when it comes to nutrition and nutritional supplements. It's almost impossible to overdose on a vitamin for that reason. Drugs don't work that way because the body doesn't know what to do with a drug. Does that make sense? The body knows what to do with a vitamin. So if you have a lot of it in your system, if you're taking a lot of it, there are processes in place for making sure that that vitamin doesn't get used. With a drug, that's not true. With a drug, the body doesn't know what the heck to do with a drug, so there's no safety valve. You see, does that make sense? You follow what I'm saying? That's why nutrients are not like drugs. Nutrients, the body knows how to use vitamin K. If you have too much vitamin K, you're eating too much vitamin K, or you're supplementing with too much vitamin K, there are fail-safe mechanisms, or safety valve mechanisms for vitamins, because the body has evolved with vitamins. Not true about Coumadin, not true about drugs.
That's
drugs,
why
the
they
body
monitor so closely. They monitor the PTINR.
All of it, because the body doesn't know what the heck a Coumadin is. It's never seen Coumadin before, or any of Perdax or any of the new blood-thinning types of drugs. So here's the deal. With vitamin K, it's a little bit tricky because it's a fat-soluble vitamin, and vitamin D, E, A, and K all work together. So you don't necessarily want to take vitamin K by itself. But if you're taking vitamin K in conjunction with a good nutritional supplement program, then you probably want to be at around 1,000 micrograms to 5,000 micrograms a day. But you don't have to worry about overdosing, as I say, because your body will just clear out the excess, and it's not going to necessarily get used. But more importantly, my friend, you want to know why your blood is clotting. That's really the big problem, because blood clotting is a major, major issue. The blood delivers nutrients, delivers oxygen, helps detoxify, and if it's clotting, that's not going to happen, and it also means your heart's going to be working a lot harder as well. So hang tight, because I think this is a more significant issue than you think. Hang tight, Joseph. We'll finish up when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. We're talking to Joseph in California. Joseph, you there, my friend?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so blood clotting issues. Here's the deal. Blood clotting is associated with the stress response. It's one of the ways the body protects itself when it thinks its life is in danger. The organism, the body, will protect itself by clotting the blood. This is a mechanism for keeping you from hemorrhaging to death under conditions of being eaten alive by a tiger. That's why people in surgery will have issues with blood clots. So relaxation techniques are going to be very important. Nutritional supplements will also help. Number one, because they help relax the body, they alleviate stress, but also because there's direct blood thinning effects to some nutritional supplements. I'll tell you about those in a second. But most importantly, you want to focus on what is getting into your blood that's activating this emergency response. It usually means food. So working on your digestive system, that's going to be important if you know about food allergies or food intolerances, or you have digestive symptomology. You want to link those to specific foods and then eliminate those foods. Patching up the gut is also important. The Z radical, the fucoid Z, will help patch up the gut and also has blood thinning properties, so that can be a very helpful supplement. Vitamin E counteracts vitamin K, so if you're going to supplement with vitamin K, there's this antagonistic balancing relationship between vitamin K and vitamin E, so using vitamin E can be helpful. 400 international units of vitamin E with your vitamin K. Take those two together in addition to your vitamin D and A, those 4 fat-soluble vitamins. Omega-3 essential fatty acids also have a nice blood thinning effect. Make sure you're taking your omega-3s and your omega-6s together. And I'd be doing maybe a tablespoon or so of something like Udo's blend every 1 or 2 tablespoons every day. And then in addition to that, you might want to use your Ultimate EFAs or your Ultimate EFA Plus from Longevity, and that will also help. Most importantly, though, it's going to be figure out what's getting into the system. What is your body freaking out about? Why does your body think it needs to clot the blood? Why does your body think it's about to get its head ripped off by a tiger, if you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense, Joseph?
Absolutely. I'm mainly getting them in the extremities, in my legs, and places where I don't get enough circulation.
Yes, exactly. That's because the circulation tends to be poor in the extremities. So if you have an oxygen deficiency, if your body is under low blood oxygen conditions, it's going to show up worse in the extremities. So moving the circulatory system around is going to be very helpful. But I'm getting the feeling something is in your blood that's causing this clotting response. And it could have something to do with low oxygen, but more than likely it has something to do with getting into the blood, something getting into the blood through the digestive system.
Do you think alum, there's something that's in my deodorant that's actually
no.
alum.
No. Alum will definitely clot the blood if you stuck it right in your blood, but it's not getting in through your skin, through your deodorant. No, I would say that's unlikely. More than likely, it's something you're eating, or it could be something. It could be a combination of something you're eating and an emotional and mental type of stress. One way or another, something is getting into the blood that's telling your body that there's an emergency, and you got to calm the body down. Work on the digestive system, focus on the nutritional supplements, and then use all these relaxation techniques that we talk about here on the program all the time: hot water, immersion therapy, massage. Deep breathing, all of the anti-anxiety, anti-stress strategies that we talk about on the Bright Side. Okay? Thank you so much, Joseph. Appreciate your call, buddy. Take care, bro. Okay, let's go to Tara. Hey, Tara, what's up?
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, I'm doing great, thanks.
What's going on today?
Well, I have a friend who, she's 21 years old, and she just found out that she possibly might have endometriosis. But she does know that they told her she has functioning cysts. She has 8 on her ovaries. 8 cysts,
and they want to give her birth control pills, or they want to do surgery, or what do they want to do?
Well, they told her they can't remove them until they're 6 centimeters.
Okay.
And they're giving her estrogen.
Okay.
And that's vitamin D.
You know, I'm going to try to keep my blood pressure down and keep the hair on the back of my neck from going up, because that's just so awful, but I hear it all the time. Estrogen is on the FDA's known to cause cancer list. So anybody who's taken estrogen is playing with fire, and any doctor who prescribes estrogen should be studying up on the biochemistry of estrogen. We'll leave it at that. Cysts are caused by the body feeling like it needs to grow, cells growing out of control. Whenever you have cysts or boils or acne, or anytime cells are growing out of control, you want to look at 2 factors. Number 1, insulin. And number 2, ironically, estrogen. Between estrogen and insulin, you have the 2 major reasons why cysts form and why people have endometriosis. And there's something called polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is probably what this gal has going on here. Polycystic means lots of cysts on the ovaries, ovarian cysts, lots of ovarian cysts, and the syndrome part means that you end up with weight problems, with skin problems, with blood pressure problems, with menstrual cycle problems, fertility issues. All of these are the syndrome that are associated with too much cysts. 2 things. Number 1, it's pre-diabetes. That means, Tara, have your friend treat her ovarian cysts as if they were an insulin issue. Number 1, that means stabilizing her blood sugar, using the chromium and vanadium, the sweeties, making sure she's getting enough magnesium, and most importantly, restricting her intake of blood sugar spiking foods, fruits and fruit juices and desserts and breads and pastas and rice and cereal. And I'm not saying zero tolerance, but just kind of pay attention. If you have problems with those kinds of foods and you can't get off of them, use more protein and more coconut oil, in addition to making sure that you're on a good nutritional supplement program to balance out or help the body process the sugar. The sweeties from Longevity, magnesium, the Fuchs Z, all of these are great nutritional supplemental strategies for stabilizing sugar. The second thing is the estrogen. And ironically, they'll give her estrogen, but estrogen is a growth hormone. It makes cysts grow. The nonsense, the craziness. Anyway, so how do you stabilize or balance out estrogen? First and foremost, have her use progesterone cream or pregnenolone capsules. Progesterone cream, you'll have to go to a doctor to get a prescription for that. Have a compounding pharmacist make 10% progesterone cream. Usually they'll make it 2%, but if you do a 10%, you'll save some money. You have to use less of the progesterone cream. You get 5 times more progesterone, obviously. Pregnenolone around 100 milligrams a day if she prefers that. Vitamin E and vitamin A can help balance out estrogen, 400 international units of vitamin E. Vitamin E also has some nice sugar metabolizing, sugar processing properties. It'll help the body process sugar a little bit. Vitamin A, about 20,000 international units a day. So for all estrogen issues, whether we're talking endometriosis, PMS, weight gain problems, ovarian cysts, whatever, vitamin E and vitamin A have nice balancing properties for estrogen, 400 IU of vitamin E. And by the way, the mixed tocopherols is the best form of vitamin E. And 20,000 international units of vitamin A. Magnesium can help, maybe 2,000 milligrams a day of magnesium also can help with insulin and with estrogen for that matter. And then have her work on processing fats. Anytime you have an estrogen problem, I don't care what it is, PMS issues or fertility issues, whatever, focus on fats. Why? Because, sometimes it's not just estrogen, but it's I'm going to let you go here, Tara, okay? I'm going to let you go, so listen in. Thanks so much for your call. Appreciate it. sometimes it's not estrogen, but it's the metabolites of estrogen, the derivatives of estrogen. There's actually something called catechol estrogens that really wreak havoc on the body. They're associated with autoimmunity. They're associated with PMS issues. They're associated with all kinds of estrogen problems. And these catechol estrogens, these derivatives of estrogens, these metabolites of estrogens can build up in the body under conditions of problems metabolizing or processing fats. That means focus, for all estrogen issues, focus on fat absorption, fat metabolism, fat processing. That means work on your gallbladder. That means work on the liver. And that means use probiotics. The three major reasons why fats get thrown off, fat metabolism gets thrown off is because of the intestinal problems, gallbladder problems, and liver problems. For the intestines, you're going to do all the food strategies we talk about, especially probiotics, which help the body process estrogen. Work on the liver by using all the fatty nutrients that we talk about on the program, vitamin E and vitamin A and vitamin D and vitamin K, and essential fatty acids, EFAs. Some people like to use milk thistle for the liver. I'm not so sure I would use milk thistle because the liver has to process milk thistle, but that might be something you want to think about. Jerusalem artichoke, some people use that as well for protecting the liver. And then glutamine also has some nice liver health properties. And then for the gallbladder, you want to make sure that you're staying away from problem foods. This is the number one reason why people have gallbladder issues, is because of food intolerances and food allergies. It all kind of works together, because once you start working on the digestive system, obviously you're going to be working on eliminating problem foods and eliminating food intolerances. Treat estrogen issues through the digestive system and also by using nutrients that balance out estrogen. And I don't care if we're talking breast cancer, I don't care if we're talking cysts, I don't care if we're talking PMS or infertility, all these are associated with estrogen problems. Focus on the digestive system, use nutrients like vitamin E and vitamin A to balance out estrogen, and then always, if you have estrogen issues, it's helpful to use some progesterone cream or pregnenolone capsules. Okay, that's all the time we have for today. I apologize if we left you on hold. Please call back tomorrow. If we left you on hold, tell our call screener that you were on hold and we'll get you first up. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for listening, friends. Tomorrow we'll continue, we'll finish up talking about anxiety, and then we'll continue talking about nitrates and nitric oxide, how you can increase your nitrate content. Yes, I said increase nitrates in your blood through dietary strategies. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have yourselves a spectacular, wonderful day. We'll talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.